Testing 1, 2. All right, everybody. Attention towards the front. Testing 1, 2. All right, we're gonna get. All right, everybody. We're gonna get started really quick here. So attention towards the front. Testing 1, 2. Interesting. All right, we're gonna get. All right, everybody. Yeah. All right, that should be good. So we're gonna get started. I've already done a roll call and attendance. Our agenda for today, we're gonna have a presentation by Provost Christensen, our student organization proposal by SHAPE. Rezwan and I are briefly gonna discuss the Senate elections that are coming up. Then we'll go to executive reports, senator reports, open floor, and then we'll split off into our committee meetings, and then adjournment is covered. So I will hand it off right away to Provost Christensen.
Thanks very much. Is there a camera for Zoomland or is it right here? Very good. Okay, so pleasure to be here. First, I want to welcome all of you back. I know you've been back for a while, but it's my first opportunity to welcome all of you back to campus. We're so happy to have you back here. I hope your semester has started off really well. If you have issues, please raise them with the appropriate offices. We want to make sure that you're all having great experiences. There's a lot of good things going on at the university. Hopefully you see more students on campus because we have more students on campus than we normally do. So enrollments are up this year, which is really fantastic. We have new academic programs rolling out. We have Coursera, which I'll talk about in just a minute. But I want you to know, there are a lot of great things happening on this campus. And your experiences here are much more than just your degree program. Always keep this in mind. Your on-campus education and the opportunity to be a part of SGA, the opportunity to utilize the Kaplan Institute, the opportunity to be in different student organizations, enjoy Chicago, muddle through the sports teams, and just have a great life experience here is why you're here, okay? So I think Rezwan said at convocation, make sure you do well in your academics, right? That's important, but that's just step one. Take advantage of all the great opportunities that you have available to you and make friends for life and connections that will help you in your career path that you will never realize until 20 years from now. You reconnect with someone that you knew here and somehow that has a positive impact on you. Those are the things that you get out of this type of experience being on our campus as one of our students, okay? So I just wanted to remind you of all of those wonderful opportunities. So one of the things that launched recently is 4 new degree programs on the Coursera platform. So some of you may know Coursera. It's essentially a learning marketplace. It has about 120 million unique learners registered. And academic institutions like ours can partner with them to bring our academic programs to their learner base, okay? I don't know if you realize this, to recruit each of you, depending on where you're from in the United States or across the globe, it costs the institution anywhere between $300 and over $30,000 to get you here, okay? The radius of influence around our campus, as it grows beyond 5 miles, that's when it starts growing exponentially. And you get to the coast and you're at exceeding $30,000 to recruit one student to our campus, okay? So that's why we work so strategically to market our programs in ways that recruit from markets where we're going to yield large numbers of students. And that includes here on campus. Coursera is interesting because they play that role. So we don't necessarily pay those costs. Coursera opens their books to their learner base. So who's their learner base? It's not students that look like you, okay? Their average learner is 35 to 45. Their average learner is full-time employed. Their average learner has a degree, okay? But if you look at the distribution of, let's say, some college credit, no degree, and master's degrees, it's about equal on either end of that distribution. So it's a pretty wide distribution of learners, okay? And they're global learners. There's a lot of them here in the US out of the 120 million, but there's learners also in Europe and in other parts of the world that utilize Coursera for education. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to emphasize is that this is recruiting from a learner base that we don't recruit to our campus. Okay, most of these individuals are not looking to attend university in person. They have families, they have full-time jobs, they have life circumstances that don't allow them to have access to an academic degree program like someone that can come to campus. Okay. So that's the advantage of Coursera. Second thing I want to note before I talk about our programs is the other institutions that are engaged with Coursera. So the place 2.5 hours south of here that we won't mention that I'm an alum from, UIUC, okay, is one. Their MBA program was built by our president, the Coursera MBA program. It now generates $40 million a year for that university in net revenue. Okay. University of Pennsylvania, no slouch. University of Colorado at Boulder. They now have a much better football team if you follow those kinds of things, but they've always been really strong academically. Okay. That's just a few. Imperial College London, another. Okay. These are institutions that are at or above us in terms of quality perception in the higher ed marketplace. And they see great value. Why do they see value? They see value because it broadens their learner base. They recruit students that wouldn't be able to come to their campus. It generates revenue. It increases the network of the university amongst its alumni to support its student base for internships and other sorts of things. And they've all done market research that shows the perceptions of their institutions went up as they launched and sustained these types of programs. Okay, so these are the value adds that we get. In addition, I want to make sure it's really clear to you, our institutional mission is about providing educational opportunities for students that might not otherwise have the opportunity. Is that not what I just described out of Coursera? So while that was our mission in 1890 when we were founded, and the children of the meat packers and the steel workers and the machinists on the south side of Chicago had that access because that was our mission, we're now doing it globally. Okay? So those are the important attributes of why we've decided to enter into this marketplace. So we have 4 degrees. 3 of them are master's degrees. The MBA program is now on Coursera. There's a Master of Data Science that's on Coursera, Master of Information Technology. So those are the 3 master's degrees. They're all 30 credit hours, 30 or 33. I think one of them's 33. And then there's what we call a bachelor completion program in information technology. Okay. A bachelor's completion program is for a student that did a semester or a year of college, 2 years of college, but life happens and they can't finish. So they have, 15, 20, up to 60 credit hours, but no degree to show for it. So we're giving them a pathway to complete that degree, not just complete it, but complete it in a technology field so that they see the economic value once they graduate. Okay. So those 4 degrees are there. The learning is online. So it's where the students are, when they are available to learn. That's really important for this marketplace. Okay. Couple of other things that I think are important to understand. The degree expectations are the same. So the rigor, the quality, we have to make them the same as an on-campus program for our accreditation. Accreditation means that there's some governing body out there that knows a lot about higher ed, and they have standards for the way that we educate students. And we have to meet those standards to be what we call accredited. We can't be accredited if these programs have different expectations. So they have the same expectations. So if there's happens to be a class that's offered there that you might be enrolled in here on campus, the learning is the same, the rigor is the same, and the grade expectations are the same. Okay, I just want to make that clear as well. But they're different experiences. So think about your own experience. You're sitting here right now on our campus in this building. Okay? You had class in all of the buildings on this campus. You maybe interacted with a TA or a tutor or a faculty member on this campus today or this week. At least I hope you did. That means you went to class. You spent time in one of our research labs as an undergraduate researcher. You worked on the eco car. The car just got here. It's a beautiful car if you're not a part of that team. The SAE car, you're in rocketry, or in one of the other 145 student orgs that we have. Okay. Maybe this weekend you had dinner downtown, and maybe you went to a museum or you took advantage of things near the lake. Maybe some of you are working part-time right now at companies that exist here in Chicago. All of those are things beyond your degree program, right? Those are what I call value add by being on this campus as an in-person student. And they amplify your degree. And in many ways, they're going to position you. Those are the things that are going to differentiate you in the market when you're looking for a job. They look and say, yeah, you got a degree, but you were involved in this club. What did you do? What did you lead? What did you learn? And how will you apply those skills to this job? You know this. You've interviewed for internships. That's the stuff they want to talk about. They don't want to talk about thermodynamics class. Okay? So I want to put that in a framing to help you understand what it means to be an on-campus, in-person student at Illinois Tech versus an online master's student with Coursera. It is a different experience. There's still TAs. The learning isn't synchronous. We're building digital learning assets to teach students the same material. There are faculty they can interact with, but again, it's when they're available to learn where they live. It's fundamentally different. Okay. So when you think about the value you walk away with from this university, think of everything that I just explained to you. That's why you're literally here, not just with the university, but here on our campus. Okay. And unfortunately, these students don't have that opportunity. But for them, they're at a different point in their lives, right? A 40-year-old that has some college credit, but has sort of built a career in IT, but they've tapped out in their promotions. They have a family of 5, okay? And they're looking for something to break through the ceiling. The bachelor in IT undergrad completion degree is what helps them break that barrier. Okay, so they have a different set of circumstances. So I wanted that to explain that because I think that's really important, and that's a differentiator between these programs. Programs are the same, rigor is the same, but everything wrapped around it is fundamentally different, and the value proposition is fundamentally different. Okay. The last thing I'll say about Coursera is not only does it help us meet our mission, not only does it help us grow our brand recognition, it's going to help us grow our revenue base. Why is that important? Well, to properly support your education on this campus, this is one opportunity for us to raise additional revenue to help support your experiences here. So the way that we view the opportunity here from a revenue perspective is these are dollars we can invest back into this physical campus to improve your experiences. Okay? It takes some money to support these programs, but they're at scale. You know, we're talking about growing to 1,000 learners a year in some of these programs. And they're built in ways where you create the courses, you launch them. Doesn't matter necessarily if there's 50 students in it or 1,000. Okay? And by going scale, that grows the revenue base, which we plan to reinvest in this campus. New staffing, facility upgrades, faculty growth, supporting other new experiences for students that we aren't able to support now. So there are all these value adds for the institution, but also value adds for our community for us to be launching in this space. The last thing I'll say is, you know, you've heard President Inchambetti speak passionately about our mission and also passionately about being a leader as an institution. Okay. The value of an education here is starting to be recognized. You saw we announced that we're ranked 23rd in this new Wall Street Journal college rankings poll. And they stripped out all of the stuff like endowment size and SAT scores and, you know, all of these numbers that are really just inputs. And all they looked at is what happened to students when they graduated. Where did they end up? What's the success that they're having? That's our mission. And now we're being ranked appropriately for it. Okay. This is just an opportunity for us to share that value further across the globe. Okay. So I'm happy to take questions on this or anything else. Sorry, I went over a little bit. But I wanted you to understand about this, why it's important for this university, and also for you to be excited about this. This is a great opportunity for our university, but it actually has value add for you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Provost Christensen. We'll allow questions for about 5 to 8 minutes here.
Thank you. I think this is really helpful to kind of see the thought process behind introducing Coursera. My question to you is, with a lot of these other universities like Urbana-Champaign, they introduce their MBA programs as like IMBA or something like that, something as distinct from an in-person education.
Yep.
And on top of that, they've got admissions processes, like you have to submit with 2 letters of recommendation, your resume, your transcripts, things like that. With Illinois Tech, when I was looking it up, you're able to get in with some kind of a performance-based admissions.
Yep.
So my question there is, if you're willing to admit kind of anybody and you're not evaluating or talking about how you're targeting these people who are kind of later career individuals, how are you making sure that the kinds of people that are being admitted are kind of the caliber that you would expect of kind of an Illinois Tech graduate student or undergraduate student?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So there's 2 unique attributes to the programs that we offer. I should have mentioned this. The first is that, you know, just like you have an iPro requirement on this campus, right? It's a way for you to learn skills that are industry relevant and apply your knowledge to an industry relevant problem. Each of these programs has built-in industry credentials. So you can get a Google Cloud Computing certificate, meet the requirements of the certificate, and that can be integrated into your academic program. So we're doing the same thing that we do on this campus through these degree programs. There are no other programs on Coursera that have that structure built in. That's one differentiator. The second is what you mentioned, which is called performance-based admissions, but it's exactly that, performance-based. So students take 3 courses up front. There's no application. The 40-year-old can't get letters of recommendation from faculty from 20 years ago. That's not going to work. What we allow them to do is show their abilities in those 3 courses. Those 3 courses have the same standards and rigor as the courses here on this campus, which means that a B that's received by any one of you and a B that's received by them is equally earned and is a marker of the quality of their ability to get that grade in the class. So when they get a certain level of performance, we allow them in the program. But what I'll tell you is any degree program is conditionally admitted, even the programs here. Even though you're here and you're admitted, you have to get a certain GPA. There's an expectation for all of that. These students do too. And so, but the idea is up front, As long as the rigor expectations are exactly the same, that's the metric we're using to ensure the quality of the students is the same.
So what is the aversion then to using an admissions process? Because I think about the people on our campus and I think that they're defined by a lot more than the number that is their GPA. Like, I
Mhm.
think that their qualities as leaders and their backgrounds kind of going into school, whether they're graduate students here or undergraduates, kind of set them apart from a lot of my, friends that I've got that are going to other universities.
Yep. So I think what we have to understand are these are people at different points in their lives. The person that's been in an IT career for 20 years has proved their worth in their career and gained a knowledge set that students entering fresh out of high school don't necessarily have here. So I think we're trying to compare apples and oranges in this context. They're all learners, but they're all learners with different experiences and different backgrounds, and frankly, different expertise. And what we're trying to do is build a system that allows us to provide access to education for as broad a learner base as possible. But again, everything, just like we talked with the faculty asked similar questions. How are we going to be sure that the learners are ready for the degree programs that we're offering? And the answer is you hold the keys to the rigor of your course. You set the standards for your course. If a student meets or exceeds the standards, they've met the rigor. And that's important to us.
Okay, and so I guess like my last question on that train of thought would just be, I mean, you kind of talk about a hypothetical person being this person who is later in their career, which I think it totally makes sense and it's a really great target. So why not focus on just bringing in those people that are kind of like your target candidates and admitting those people into the program through a traditional admissions process?
Because again, I think that, and I'll speak for myself in this, I believe that we have to create diverse pathways into our institution for the diverse learner audiences that we're trying to resonate with. Okay. And to me, this is the right pathway for these types of learners. We don't want to be putting barriers that are artificial in that sense. If somebody can perform based on their life experiences, and again, that's another difference between someone entering through a normal in-person pathway. These life experiences are hard to measure, but they're so critical for the learner. And we're not the only school that's employing this approach. Boulder just started too. So we're talking about top 50 institutions that are recognizing their responsibility in providing access to quality education for as many people as possible that can perform appropriately in the programs.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to take up all the time.
Hi, I've got a few questions. So speaking on the quality of education that you just spoke of, so currently, like in a lot of classes, specifically in the CS department, because there's been huge admissions, there's been a huge influx of people. So we're talking about classes with over 100 people in them.
Yep.
So, and there's actually a class with over 400 people in it. So,
which is actually the norm at UAUC.
Okay. So, how are you planning to like maintain the quality of offerings and it with the influx of student compared to the amount of staff that are here?
Yeah, absolutely. So to meet the demands of the increased enrollment that you're talking about, I increased by at least 50% the teaching budget in the computer science department in particular. In the College of Computing, I doubled the TA budget to help provide as much support as possible for the increased enrollments. Last year, the computer science department hired 5 new faculty. In the College of Computing, I believe they hired a total of 8 faculty, which in their numbers, that's probably a 17 to 20% increase. So I want you to know that we're doing everything proactively to help support that growth in enrollment to ensure the learning experience. And that's just what we've done in the last few months.
Okay, sure. So getting more into the enrollment stuff, or with the faculty recruiting, we've actually lost like a lot of top research faculty in the last few years, like specifically in the CS department. We just lost 2 top researchers that give opportunities to students on campus for opportunities to work with like Argonne National Lab.
Yep.
And we're not recruiting more research faculty to replace them. So Are there any plans to do that, or are we gonna just not prioritize research as much anymore?
No, absolutely. A bunch of the faculty hired last year were research-based faculty.
Mhm.
I'll give you some statistics. I was a department chair at Notre Dame in aerospace and mechanical engineering. 30 faculty on my faculty, almost the same size as CS. My year-over-year turnover on losing faculty was between 2 and 3. That's pretty normal attrition in academia. I want to put the numbers in context.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
From a hiring perspective, we hired double that last year. My intent this year is to do the same. And so, yes, people leave. We miss good people, but we're also able to recruit good people in, and we're committed to making sure that those numbers stay and grow beyond where they are now.
So are we committed
I'm-
to getting
I'm
more
good.
research faculty?
Yeah,
Thank you.
there's a computer science search right now
Okay,
for multiple faculty positions. Absolutely.
thank you.
And I've been
Provost.
consistent in conveying that to the department as well.
Okay, thank you, Provost Christensen. That's where I'm going to call it for questions on this topic. Thank you so much. I think we have a round of applause.
Can I get a motion to extend by 1 more minute?
We're not going to extend the time for this. This is the time that he wanted to come. We gave it to him.
Okay.
I
have
all
one
thank
question
him
in
for
my own
coming.
hands, but it's all right.
Thank you, Naeem.
Thank you.
All right, so next we have our organization proposal for SHAPE. If you guys want to come on forward. You guys just hit the space bar. It should cycle through them.
Oh, yeah. These need 2 or 1.
We have 2. Or you want 2 or 7? Now we can just, it's okay. Okay, so hi, my name is Marlon and I'm the Vice President of SHAPE, and it stands for Student Hub for Applied Projects and Experiences. So today we will be covering,
Oh yeah, my name's Jason. I'm the treasurer for SHAPE.
So today we'll be covering who SHAPE is, our projects, the benefits, and our future goals. So our mission is that we are a student org to help students connect to local businesses and nonprofit organizations, and as well as student orgs for tech volunteering, consulting, and project management. So what do? We help people build connections and build relationships with the clients that we work with and within teams. And as well as we provide live projects such as making websites and apps, which helps build portfolios and resumes. And we help with skill enhancing and providing industry insight, such as office tours, professional workshops. So what sets us apart? So our comprehensive skill set is that we provide hands-on planning, real client projects, and diverse tech exposure. And as well as we have real-world engagement, such as collaborating with external clients, live projects, and business insights. And our interdisciplinary collaboration is that we coordinate our projects with project managers, and we provide teamwork with software engineers and our designers. So the projects that we're working on currently is the Hawk House website, the UFarm website and the app, the esports website and the app, the SHAPE recruitment app, and we're collaborating with the Startup Studio and Entrepreneur Club. So we do these by making up teams with UI UX designers, software engineers, project managers, and consultants. And our current partners are Hawk House, UFarm, Kaplan, and IIT Sports.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little about the benefits that we provide students. So we help them develop more technical skills in like web development, app development. They can develop skills in frameworks such as React. We give them opportunities in consulting so they can interact with more business people. We also help students learn more about management, and we do this by through the agile methodologies that is used throughout this CS industry, I guess. And we help them with interpersonal skills such as teamwork, communication, and problem solving. We also help them with networking with industry professionals, and we help them connect. We help students connect each other. And we also, so by doing these projects, they can put some stuff on their resume, since we know that a bunch of young students that are, or I guess, freshmen and sophomores, they don't really have anything that they can put on their resume. And here are some of our future goals. We want to work with more industry partners. So this semester we have Granger coming out. We're partnering with ACM for that, I believe. We want to work with more student orgs, and we also hope to see students in our club coming up with original ideas that we could make. That's it.
All right, thank you guys. We're gonna move into a 5-minute question and answer period. So if anybody has any questions about Shape.
Do you have any faculty that you're planning on working with that you've talked to about working with in your organization?
Currently we're on the works with collaborating with the business.
I think its
The
name was
biz-
Esmeralda.
Yeah. Because we want to like provide like within the teams that we have right now with the projects, we want to have like business consultants
Yeah.
with each team so they could like focus on like what we could like improve on within the teams. So yeah.
I had a question. So, what kind of like made you guys want to start Shape? Like, what was? Because I see that you guys are trying to do a lot of good things. So, like, what was kind of that like spark to get you guys going?
Yeah, so actually our president founded this org because he saw that a lot of CS students didn't really have a lot of like actual experience in making projects and working with people. So he wanted to give that opportunity to CS people, CS students. So
you have people wanting both ends, you have people wanting to just develop websites or that interest project, people that are, your clients, and then you have the people that will actually design them. So what's the process of actually connecting those people? Is that just sending an email? Because, as somebody who needs people to design websites, I just want to email you, and how do you connect those people?
yes.
So this is the organization, sorry.
No, so they basically reach out to us, I guess, through email or can talk to us in person. And then when we get like a good idea of what their projects are, we'll we'll form a team around that, and each team will have a project manager, some UI UX designers, and some software developers to bring that project to life.
So the executive board is choosing kind of the groups and teams that are.
People typically volunteer, like we'll send out like, hey, this is a project that we have. Is anybody interested? That was how we.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
choose what projects they want to work on. Like if they want to do the website for the company that we're going to work with, or if they want to make the app.
Yeah. How does it, I'm just curious how does it
Well, it helps a lot of CS students gain experience, and really anybody could be part of this organization as well to gain, practical skills.
Yeah, and
talking
like-
to people, working with people.
You don't necessarily have to be a CS student to like join the org. Like we also have mechanical engineers, ITM, and like other majors.
Are there any more questions? Just gonna-
I kind of just wanted to know, do you guys have, like, did you guys poll or gauge interest of like how many CS students or just how many students on campus would be interested in this during the org fair or at any other point to like notice like a huge surge of people wanting to take interest in this?
I think during the org fair, we had quite a bit of people sign up for it. We have a Discord right now with, I think it's like 70 some people. I'll have to check on that, but yeah.
Okay, and then to follow up with what he was talking about, when you guys make these teams of managers and consultants and UI engineers and all that stuff, are these just specific undergrad and graduate students here at IIT, or are you guys talking about like reaching out to outside people, somebody who has a degree or is established that's going to join this team and sort of lead these groups of people? Or
People choose their role. So if they want to work like in the UI UX field, then they could like work on that. If they want to work more in like the coding, like the back end, they become the software engineers. And if they have like experience with like project management, so we are more likely to put them as the project manager because they have more
Okay.
experience. in that
so
field.
if I were to join and I wanted to, let's say, join specifically for a project management part, I would be basically learning, teaching myself, and sort of like gaining experience that way. Like it's
Yeah.
sort of like a, hey, come sit down, learn,
Mhm.
hands-on, work with it type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
One last question before we go to the next stage. So you guys are currently working with like a lot of institutions on campus, right? Like the U Farm and like Kaplan and stuff. So do you guys plan to reach out to companies outside
Yeah.
Illinois Tech, right?
Yeah, that's like our future goal as well. We want to work with like actual companies that are in the industry.
Mhm.
So that way it'll provide students with even better experience and projects that they can work on.
So you'll kind of verify what kind of projects they want people for, right?
What's that?
So you will verify if like the project they want like the students to be working on. So you'll verify that, oh, it is a good project for the Illinois Tech population, right? So you'll be the people who are gonna make the decision.
I'm sorry, can you repeat what you said?
It's like, so when someone reaches out to you, so you'll verify that that company or the project that they want Illinois Tech students to work on is like a good project or is like beneficial to the students, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Did you think about like how the students, is it only going to be experience or will there be compensation? Will it work like an internship?
Oh, right now, like some of our e-board members, we're like participating in a Latinx hackathon,
Okay.
which is like happening Friday until Sunday. So we like encourage people to like join other outside activities.
Thank you. I'm gonna cut
Thanks.
off the question period right now. Do I have a motion to move to discussion? A second, anybody? Okay. We're gonna move on to the discussion period. You guys can follow Naeem. You guys can follow Naeem. Yeah. I got one, sorry. Mic check.
So I'll go ahead and launch a discussion. So I guess for me, I have experiences with friends that struggle to find opportunities to create projects for their degree, specifically computer science students. They just struggle to find the initiative, which in my opinion, you know, if you're in such an aggressive degree program, you should have the initiative. But I guess this would be a pretty good organization to have. The only thing that I'm struggling to find a yes vote for is the fact that it could easily be integrated into a department as opposed to being a student org funded by the SAF. I don't know if Siri. I don't know if that's a sentiment people share with me, but I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it.
We'll go on to Naeem.
Thank you. I would say certainly when it comes to this organization, I think they are definitely, this is working, right? Okay. Yeah, I think they are definitely warranted in their existence. I think there's definitely a gap in between with CS students in terms of those soft skills, in terms of project experience. These are very real gaps. You know, we always talk about that sort of missing classroom skill or that missing class. And I think there's certainly something to fill that. However, I would argue they could certainly work on partnering with other student orgs, and we can just provide them that guidance and other departments. As you, Kaplan, you know, does a lot to help with soft skills, presenting things of that nature. And there are definitely other departments. Professors are looking to hire for research, professors with industry experience, so on and so forth, that they could maybe work together on to pair students with.
I'll move on to Tessa.
I just want to say that I share the sentiment that Elio expressed, that it could easily be a departmental group. And it just feels odd that this is the sort of group that is being presented.
Okay, we'll move on to Jacob.
Respond to the.
Maybe they can't if they wanted to. Work on this. I know I'm sure we could things. Good with this. Secondly, with this specifically, we have a student organization. And it's not even, they haven't presented to us because they haven't need to present to SBA. That's the Untitled Project X. I have no affiliation with them. I actually thought they were pretty bad when I first saw them, but they demonstrated that they're thriving and successful. And so an organization like that is intended to get students involved in projects, engaged in whatever the project is, whether it's web related, if it's engineering. And so these people, right, their names, they present SHAPE. And so this SHAPE is something very much redundant of Untitled Project X. And so you know, encourage voters to say no or abstain and to encourage them to get involved with that.
Nathan.
I feel like a lot of the projects which they wish to complete in this organization are already being done by other organizations, even if it's not just a comprehensive experiential organization. You look at SAE and different engineering or CS based organizations already doing projects and already receiving money from the school or under themselves. And so I agree, it does seem very redundant.
I'd just like to add a brief comment here is that the point of new student organizations is to fill a niche on campus that is not already filled. You guys bring up some organizations, but this group, the reason why they're presenting here today is because they presented to me, and I thought that they filled a specific niche with computer science students. There is not, according to these computer science students, there is not enough opportunities for them to apply their skills in situations where they would need to in industry. And so that's why they're here presenting today, is because they want to do that. That's just something that I want you guys to think about before you go voting.
I just to say that we have reached our 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I'll let Reswan state his point and then we'll call.
So 2 minutes. Okay. I just wanted to say that because what Jacob said, Untitled X, was it?
Yeah, I should.
Okay, yeah, that because we can't take that as a factor, right? Because they never came to us and it's someone who approached us to see if they can help. And I feel like on this campus, there is a lot of projects that they might not have like told us today, where people have this problem of outreach, right? There's a lot of projects that need a lot of people, but they can't advertise it to everyone, right? For example, like I tried to advertise the Senate meeting to people, right? And then I send out like OSO newsletters, or like I put it on Discord, but not enough people see it, right? So I have to like go to other organizations. I have to go to like the dorms and post it with the RAs and stuff. So I think they can be a great middleman for any organizations. They can just reach out to them, say, hey, we're doing this and we don't want to work on advertising. Maybe you guys can help us out. Okay. So it's not only limited to the things they said. And of course, they'll definitely grow. So I think you guys also should take that into mind.
Jacob.
They didn't seem like advertisements, they seemed like developers. And unfortunately, projects like these are very much dependent on the abilities and competence of the students, and I'm not doubting their competence or abilities. But we want to see a student organization that thrive and actually engage in what their goals are. And so, because specifically an organization like this, as opposed to maybe a soccer club, as we saw last week, or any department of work, they can sign in. This is very much dependent on the people that are confident and needing it. And I didn't want to bring this up to be frank. I don't see the confidence in the success to actually do this.
All right, thank you. Any more comments at this time?
Well, I think something to think about as well is that a lot of the computer science students now are international students. So I think it would be a really good chance to give them to work off campus somehow with actual real projects, since there are so many like work limitations for them. So maybe an invitation, it could be like an invitation for the like they that just presented, maybe have a better structured way to get to other companies. But I think it would be great for the CS because we know that it's full of international students.
So I have another discussion point, but we would need a motion to extend time. So do I have a motion to do so, Elio? All right, second. All right, Jacob, go ahead.
I agree, we should develop programs.
All right, any other points of discussion? Do I have a second? Any opposed? All right, would you invite them back in, Naeem, and Elio,
Of
would
course,
you
you got
release
it.
the voting form? All right, so with that, we will move on. I'm going to briefly talk about some election information, and this will be your guys' chance to ask Rezwan and I any questions about how the election will be run. We don't have all the information yet. I had a meeting with Dean Stutz the other day, and we're still figuring out some of the nitty-gritty details. But we have an election calendar, so the nomination form is out. You guys should have all seen that, correct? Yeah, okay, good. Okay. So the election is going to be on September 27th. The results will be announced that night at our meeting, at our Senate meeting. There's 29 seats up for election. And just to let you know, nominations close the 18th, so this coming Monday. There'll be 29 seats up for election. There's going to be 7 seats, 1 for each of the major colleges or pieces of Illinois Tech. 6 open seats, 2 seats per year, with 1 for 5th years and 3 for graduate students. And then 4 DEI seats, which are opt-in. Basically, when you meet with me, if you'd like to also throw your name in for a DEI seat, you just let me know and you'll be in there. The election will be an approval-based voting system. This was suggested by Jacob Thomas. Sorry. I was like, how should we vote? And he said that, so I did some research. And I think this is the best voting system for how many candidates we're gonna have. This will basically allow anybody who votes to vote for as many candidates as they want. You can vote for all of them if you want. And then the people with the most amount of votes will win the different seats. And then blocked by the beautiful Zoom information is design ballot ideas. I don't know how we should design the ballot because it looks like we're going to have a lot of people on the ballot. So if you guys have any ideas or suggestions or have worked with Qualtrics or Google Forms a lot, let me know and you can talk to me after the meeting. I'd love to hear your advice. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, now is kind of a good time to ask them, just with specificity to the election. Tessa. No. I don't think I even set that as a setting. It might have just been like it's standard. Good point. I can look at it. I honestly just made the form. I didn't change any of the settings, so it might have just been in the settings that it would only allow one. Maybe Dean Stats can play with it right now while we're sitting here. But yeah, we'll see if that works. Yeah, Naeem.
Derek, could you explain a little bit as to why someone should run for Senate?
Well, you should run, first of all. We'd love to have a full Senate is not the main thing, but the main thing about being a senator is it's kind of what you make of it, which is great. If you want to connect with deans, if you're one of the college seats, if you want to connect with the dean of your college, if you want to advocate for the students within your classes, if you want to work with different administrators to actually make some type of positive change on campus, being a senator is the best thing you can do to get yourself started. Obviously, you can always do more, myself included, Rezwan included. But senator is a great place to start making those connections, start meeting the people that actually make the changes and make the decisions on campus, and just start talking to them, understanding why things are going the way they are. Understanding things more only leads to a smarter and more educated student life, and also students on campus. So that, I think, is the main motivation why you should all run. The least you can do is throw your name into the crazy amount of nominations that there are. I don't know if everybody will accept, but the least you can do is run. And I think with 29 open seats, there are plenty of opportunities for you to help us out. Yes. Yeah, 95 nominations. Yeah, I can break this all down a little bit more in depth. And this is listed in the bylaws, which are linked to the Google form, which is now open, thanks to the people who yelled at me in the Discord. Yes, it was, Avery. It should now work, right? That's not me. I won't call out who that is, but so the 7 seats per college, we have one for each of the major branches of IIT. So like the Armor College of Engineering has 1 seat, the College of Computing, the College of Science and Letters, and the other 4 that I don't know off the top of my head. Institute of Design is 1. The 6 open seats are just 6 seats that aren't specified to any specific thing. They're just seats that everybody's running for, and if they get enough votes, they get one of the open seats. And the designation of results is also specified in the bylaws. So if you're curious, the prestige of the seats, these are the highest prestige, then these ones maybe, and then these, and then the open seats are assigned last. So if you have the most amount of votes, you're going to get one of these 7 seats. So that's all designated in the nitty-gritty of the bylaws. If you love that, go ahead and read the bylaws. You'll fall in love with them. 2 seats per year, so 2 for first years, 2 for second years, 2 for third years, 2 for fourth years, 1 for fifth years, and then 3 for graduate students. And then the 4 diversity, equity, and inclusion seats are to help make sure we have a representative body in the Senate. So does that kind of answer your questions, or did you have a follow-up? The DEI are diversity, equity, and inclusion seats. So ensuring that our Senate is fully representative of our campus and isn't maybe weighted too heavily by one specific group. It's helping to prioritize different viewpoints on Senate. Does that answer your question? Okay. Anybody else? Jacob.
So you're taking that as this sort of us saying reasons to
Yeah, there was a great email sent out by Dean Stats. There was also a great email sent out by maybe Dean Stats, but Rezwan today. There's a great flyer made by our man, VP of Engagement, Elio. And I'm sure you're going to share it on your social medias, right, Jacob? Oh, okay, perfect. Yes, delegation's a powerful tool. So all of you guys as senators, it's part of your job to spread the word about SGA. So I will be expecting to see it on your social medias. And if not, I will be disappointed. Very sad. But we want to get the word out. So if you guys have connections with student organizations, spread the word. If you know people that you think would be interested or want to make an impact on campus, or just complain about tons of stuff, well, maybe not that, but tell them to run for senator, tell them to nominate, and tell them to run. Any other questions? Oh boy, I can't wait. Qualtrics or Google Forms? Oh, I love it. I didn't want to do Qualtrics, so I'll be happy. All right, we're gonna move on unless there's anything else, Naeem.
Oh yeah, I just want to say, Senate elections will also be advertised alongside floor rep applications in RHA as well. So
Wow, we love that.
we're also reaching out to like the bigger student organizations on campus, so they can also nominate their own people, so they can also have representation of their clubs in the Senate. So, that's also another way.
Dean Stutz, did you have something to add? I thought I saw you. Okay, we're moving on. Monique doesn't have anything. Elio.
Why am I always first?
I like it this way.
Okay. So just a few updates while my voice dies in the background. We have tabling next week for the 5 days of the week. It's just so happens to coincide with homecoming, so I feel about that. We have a town hall coming up soon in October. So please be on the lookout for that. And otherwise, have a great week. I don't have any updates. And I think that's good. So the town hall, this would be our the second one that I've hosted. It's just all general concerns on campus. Have an issue about something Washers Cunningham Kasich not being dealt with, bring it to the town hall. We will have people from facilities. Last year we had people from facilities, we had Dean Stetz, we had a bunch of people from the administration show up, and they are there to listen to your concerns.
we also know where else we can talk about the washing machine. Yeah.
Naeem, were you there for that town hall?
No, but I was there for all the other instances of the washing machines being.
Yeah, I think Dean Stetz remembers.
Oh. Oh my gosh, you and me both. Okay.
About like one of the standing clothing racks, so we don't have to deal with the dryers in our apartments. I had a dryer destroy a bunch of clothes. And apart from that, in case the apartment is new additional. Yeah. And we also but that's okay. We have really brand new machines. They should work. They shouldn't break. So, but you have to be nice, right? You treat them like you would treat them any other things. But tell me what they are and we get ahead.
Yeah, well, we'll investigate.
Yeah, long story short.
Yes.
Yeah. Long story short, town halls for everything. Last year I tripped on some concrete, and that was last year I tripped on some concrete. Long story short, I made a complaint about the sidewalks on campus. Some of them got fixed. Some of them. But yeah, if you have any concerns on campus regarding literally anything except for washers and dryers, please bring it to the town hall if it has not been dealt with by that time. Yes, Joseph. Oh, admin. The whole thing is meant so that admin can talk to students directly. It was historically done before the pandemic, and then it stopped, and then I sort of restarted it. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, Jacob. Provost and president will not be there. This is mainly for issues that can be fixed on the ground. But we're going to try our best to get the provost to go. So yeah, any other questions? Ooh, okay. Who's next?
Me.
Naeem. Oh,
No.
Nathan.
Wait, not Nathan, Andrew. Sorry to disappoint. Okay.
So I just like to start out by saying I appreciate all the conversations that I've been having with people in the Discord this past week. It's really allowed me to get a lot more information on what we really need to drive home at the beginning of the semester, particularly with the Health and Wellness Center. It's definitely a big pressing issue that we need fixed immediately. So if you are willing to, please share with me any additional experiences that you have. So that way, when we go and we start dealing with this issue, we can check it off to make sure this isn't going to be an issue again. This isn't going to be an issue again. We have a solution for this, this, and this. I want to really make sure that we check all the boxes that we need to, so we don't have issues moving forward. Chartwells has also started becoming a point of conversation that we'll be developing, so we can hopefully start getting some of those issues and stuff resolved that I've heard from the student body as well. Like I said, just keep filling out that form. Tell people about the form that I have. It's on our Linktree. It's in the Discord. I can keep sending it out additional places if we want it. And the transparency thing is also linked to the conclusion of the form as well. So when you complete the form, the spreadsheet is now in there and it tells you how many people have submitted complaints, compliments, suggestions, and what general category that is showing up in. And that's a running total for that as well. So if anybody has any questions, I can take those. Yes. Yes, I'm also aware. I don't know where that number is. I know that number exists. I don't know what that number is. Yes. Okay.
Okay, so there's quite a bit to actually talk about here. For one, but that's more so to talk about during RHA, not at this time. For one, there are a number of residence life updates, complaints, notices I've gotten this week. Not on the slide for the sake of brevity. I could not include them all here, but do note we will be addressing them tomorrow when we can. Technically, tomorrow is our second welcome session for RHA. We had two, one last Thursday, one this Thursday. We had upwards of about 50 or 60 people come to the welcome session virtually last week. So thank you. It was advertised at the very last minute. So we'll be advertising it earlier this time around this week. Hopefully you can get another sizable audience as well. I just got notices regarding the floor reps are interested in RHA, and those are just the ones that filled out the survey ahead of time. There are also other floor reps that didn't fill one of the resident surveys, but the SRAs just shared that with me, and I assured the RAs we're going to start working on that process after the welcome session has concluded, so everyone is well acquainted with RHA and what happens there. So yeah, welcome session will be proceeding, but due to some of the concerns, we'll start addressing those and getting more information regarding those concerns sooner rather than later. So that will be taking place probably for the second half of the welcome session. A lot of it was a lot of extra fluff anyway, so we'll be moving quickly next time. There will be posters going up advertising RHA meetings and how to become a floor representative. Once again, if anyone here is part of a residential community on campus, please apply to be a floor representative. Help out your RA and get involved in your community, as well as help advocate for your community. Is definitely a great way to get involved, in addition to being involved as a senator or exec board member in SGA. Yeah. Last thing would be regarding, a notice just went out to my inbox for the Notion Ambassador Group. For those of you all who are familiar with what Notion is, I know a number of you all are. I think Jacob uses it, and some other people on campus for sure. It's free for students to use. You actually get a free individual plus plan, but that plus plan does not extend to organizations to use for teamwork and to collaborate. That actually costs a lot of money. But guess what? Notion has decided until October 13th, student orgs are officially recognized by their campus in the United States in higher education can apply to get Notion Plus for free for up to hundreds and hundreds of members for its workspace into perpetuity if they sign up by the deadline. So I'm working with Graham to make sure we advertise these resources and other student resources, as I have gotten requests to help promote student resources that students just don't know about. Notion being a very big productivity collaboration tool that's actually being used by the Kaplan Institute right now. We start spearheading it here too. And I highly suggest you investigate it as a student. It's free on your own individually, but there will be more to come about that later. Thank you all for coming to my tech talk. Any questions? Of course.
So for academic affairs, still working on the study sessions that I'm planning, hopefully to get those going for the second round of midterms, looking at maybe the first or second week of October. The plans are being finalized. I'm finishing up the locations for them, the schedules for each meeting, snacks, drinks, and activities, which are going to be included. I'm also talking to TAs, and I'm trying to seek GLS faculty as well as student instructors and ELM coaches for each of these study sessions to sort of supplement the tutoring that goes on between peers. And lastly, I'm going to be most likely planning another meeting with Dr. Arbel, hopefully within the next 3 weeks to sort of nail down some of the last little bits for these study sessions and create a plan to move forward with this as well. That's all from me. If you have any questions, I'll be around.
Okay, I just have two things. We're looking for people who are interested in executive assistant and executive secretary roles, maybe those who aren't as quite as interested in the senator roles or are interested in that, but just want to do something a little bit more involved. These are those two roles. You can read about them in the Constitution that's not updated. If you are interested in that, you can just come talk to me after the meeting. Next week's meeting, we will be doing a Zoom meeting. I wanted to cancel it as the elections are right around the corner, but we have finance board nominations that really need to be talked about and voted on. So those will be probably the only item on next week's agenda. So I'm going to try to keep the meeting to 30 minutes. So show up, listen, ask questions, vote, and then you're good to go. Do whatever you need to do for the rest of the night. Yeah, that's mine. Rezwan, did you have anything?
No, but yeah. Hey guys, so I don't have a lot of stuff. It's just like meetings and like things that are in progress that a lot of you may know of. I look forward to a great and smooth election. Hopefully everyone knows about the elections and we have some great nominations and everyone votes on time. So yeah, tell all your friends. Next, once again, next week's the Senate meeting is virtual, but it's really important. So all the senators, you should come and spread the word. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I'm going to, did you want to introduce yourself? Did you want to introduce yourself briefly? Okay. We have the new interim member of the Office of Student Life here tonight.
Real quick, but just yes. So Mark Shanley is here with us for like 4 months. So suck him dry. Just kidding. Just kidding. So Mark's role is actually special assistant to the Vice Provost of Student Affairs, which is me. And so we're working together to make sure that we're filling the holes as appropriately as we can, that we're left within student life with Rachel and Michaela and Kaylin's departure, as well as with residents and residence life, because Rachel had overseen both of those realms. So he's filling in where we need. He's learning a lot about the organization. He will be here often, if not always, and you'll see one of us for sure. But I'll let him tell a little bit about himself if you want to talk real quick, like 2 minutes.
Well, greetings. I'm excited to be here. I've been here 2 days now. I've learned how to screw up the what is it, the Google meeting thing and email, and so far so good. But I was retired as a vice president for student affairs at Radford University in Virginia. And prior to that, I was at Miami of Ohio, Northern Kentucky University, and University of South Carolina at Columbia. I did my bachelor's at University of Cincinnati. I majored in student government and programming. No, just kidding. But I found my calling in working with students in higher education. We're talking with my dean of students my senior year. I wanted to know what I was going to do with a degree in psychology. And he said, have you ever considered working in student affairs? And I said, what's student affairs? And he said, well, the director of residence life, I was an RA. The director of student activities, I was on the program board. I was in a fraternity. I had worked with the counseling center, the student union, all these things. And so I said, let me get this straight. I can do what I was doing as a student volunteer, get paid for it, stay in the university forever, and not have to be a student. And he said, yep. And I said, where do I sign up? And so I went to graduate school at Indiana University in Bloomington. And from there, got my doctorate in higher education, University of South Carolina. One of those non-traditional students that the provost was talking about. I was working full-time as a dean of students, taking one course a semester forever and working on a dissertation. Took me 7 years, but I got it done. I would tell you the older students in your class, I hated them when I was an undergrad because they were motivated. It was their time and their dime, and they broke the curve. You know, they embarrassed all the traditional students with their work ethic. But so I've worked with student government through all my life. I've spent 47 years in higher education. I've learned a few things, hopefully, that I can assist you with as a student government and the Senate, also with the finance board, clubs and organizations and the like. So I really look forward to meeting all of you individually and getting to know you and working with you collectively and making for a very productive student government. And so thank you.
All right, so we're gonna try to plow through these next few items so we can get to committee meetings. It's already kind of late. Do we have any senator reports tonight? No, okay. Any items for open floor? All right. And so we're going to break out into committee meetings. For those of you who don't know, we have Elio over here. Would you raise your hand, Elio? He's the vice president of engagement, runs the engagement committee. Andrew, campus life, anything to do with campus life committee. Naeem, residence life. Nathan, not Jacob. Nathan with academic affairs, Jacob with research affairs, and then Joseph with public safety. Yeah, that was open floor. Just okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Hello. If you guys are dying to talk about public safety and you can't wait for the town hall, the Strategic Committee of Public Safety is meeting with public safety this Friday. And so this is sort of the last call to voice your concerns. You can either say them right now or at the committee meeting or on Discord. There's many different ways, but this is last day that I'm taking them and I'm going to compile them all and we're going to talk about them with public safety and I'll report what we talk about. I guess not next meeting because it's on Zoom, but one of the meetings.
Okay.
Yeah, there will be more meetings throughout the semester. This is just the first meeting, and we're gonna establish a timeline at this meeting. But I'm guessing this would be like the bulk of the feedback, and then next meetings would be obviously smaller because we have already gone through a lot of the material.
All right, perfect.
Email's fine, Discord's fine.
All right. Perfect. I'm gonna give the committees until 9:10, so you guys can go ahead and break up. If those of you who don't know what committee to go to, you can just kind of float from place to place, see what people are talking about.
Engagement people follow me.
Anyway, for everyone regarding the Notion thing, just so you are aware, if you are head of a student org, make sure you get whoever's in charge of your student org's official IIT address and sign up for a workspace and an account right away. And go through, and I'll send out the link as well. But yeah, very important you go through that process. No problem.